Okay, so today we have Mariam Afifi. She's a Palestinian activist and musician who is a contrabassist at the Palestine Youth Orchestra that holds performances everywhere, showing the world the Palestinian music and musicians. Thank you so much for joining us, Mariam. How are you doing at this point? How are you feeling?
I'm good, but the situation in Jerusalem is not that good in my neighborhood. In what's going on around me, it's not that good. It's a bit crazy, but yeah, we are resisting.
True. Can basically see that recently, and I wanted to ask you if I could actually show the video and watch it with you once. When you were talking to this Israeli soldier, basically, and that's the one that became viral, right? You got arrested while protesting against the ethnic cleansing taking place in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood in Jerusalem after trying to help a girl that was attacked by soldiers. And that's the video, that went viral. One was that when you were talking to the soldier, the other one was when you were smiling when they were arresting you. And so could we share that and watch it together, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, let me just bring that up. Yeah, so can you see this?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is not just you in this. This is actually a number of different people who are getting arrested, and all of them are smiling. This is a video by Al Jazeera, and let's just watch it, and then we'll start talking about it. Yeah, and other things.
Yeah, yeah.
It just made me laugh, like, why are you doing this? Are you this weak? So I wasn't really afraid because, like, the way he treated me, the way he kicked me, the way he dragged me, it just shows he's not okay here.
Do you want your kids to grow up and to grow all defending their own side?
He hit me and he dragged me all around. My body now is full with bruises. Smiled in a way that I'm good, I'm okay. I was not afraid because I believed that I am right. Saw a girl that was beaten up and that was like laying on ground. She was helpless. I think what I did was natural, is that to go and try to help her move up. One soldier started trying to push me away and told me, like, in Hebrew, move from here. I didn't listen. I kept trying to reach this girl, and this is how it happened.
What did I do? Just defending a girl who was being beaten? That's why I'm arrested now?
I have hope that our protesting and our voice will be heard, and that the Sheikh Jarrah houses will not be, and the families will not be dispelled from their houses. I think this is the way we find strength, when we are together protesting for each other, because what would happen in Sheikh Jarrah, it will happen to the rest of Jerusalem, because they wouldn't say, okay, it's only Sheikh Jarrah. No, it started in 1948 and they didn't stop. If we don't stand for each other, then who would stand for us?
I'm sorry you had to watch that all over again, but I think that's done with the videos. I saw it here in Thailand. That's where I live, and there are a bunch of my friends, and we have all been discussing this whole thing, including Joe, who actually connected us. And so I wanted to ask you, like, did you have any prior relationship with this girl that you were trying to defend, who was being attacked?
No, I didn't even know her. I didn't even see her face. Like even until 3 days ago, I didn't know who she was. But 3 days ago, we were protesting in Sheikh Jarrah, as we do most of the time. And a girl approached me and she hugged me and started thanking me. And I was like, who are you? And she said, like, I'm the girl who you got arrested for defending me.
Okay. And so, one of the reasons I wanted to do this little chat is because I wanted to help educate people on everyday life there. It's unnerving to see, so much destruction, so much death happening, and nobody's doing anything about it. And I think it's up to, some of us, I guess, to try to get the word out. In fact, you're doing a wonderful job of doing that yourself as well. And I wanted to ask you, could you, because this is not a daily life thing for a lot of people in the world. Some people literally don't know what's happening. And so I would like to try to help educate those people in the sense that, could you possibly share with us like your daily activities, like your daily life, because for most of us, like, this is not normal. We go to work, there are no issues, we come back home, we eat, sleep, repeat. For all the videos that have been coming out now, it just goes on to show, like, that life in Palestine for Palestinians is not normal. It's just, so is there anything you could tell us, maybe?
Yeah, so basically, since 1948, Palestinians have been occupied until today. So the occupation, the first time it occupied us, we were divided as Palestinians. Yeah. So each group of Palestinians had their own realities, had their own daily lives. So let's start with that. So basically, Palestinians who live in Gaza, they are living under siege for around 15 years today. Like, that's their daily lives. They are living under an open air prison with 6 hours electricity a day, with like in 2021 undrinkable water. With each and every year there would be bombing happening, and people would be killed. Like in 2018 there was bombing. In 2019 there was bombing. In 2021 there was bombing. Maybe the COVID-19 saved them from being bombed in 2020
for 1 year.
Yeah, so basically that's the daily life of people who are in Gaza. Like, people are born there without knowing realities out of the Gaza Strip, without knowing how does the world look like out of the Gaza Strip. So, and then we have the Palestinians living in the West Bank. So the West Bank under international law is considered occupied territories, which means under international law, it's not allowed for the occupiers to move Palestinians in and out of the occupied lands, and it's not allowed to move its people, like the occupiers, in that land. But since 1967, when the West Bank was occupied, the Israeli settlement did not stop. So now I think we have 800,000 Israeli settlers inside the West Bank. So Palestinians in the West Bank are being, how to say it, like, are being narrowed in small places, like ghettos, you say. And if they want to go from one city to another, they have to cross a checkpoint. So like to save, or like these checkpoints were made or were put in order to serve the settlers and the settlements that are inside the West Bank, that are illegal. So that's the reality of the West Bankers. They don't have an airport. If they want to travel out, if they want to travel around the world, they have to first of all move to Jordan through a bridge, like through buses, and this bridge is controlled by Israeli occupation. So if there was Israeli holidays, if there were, so the bridge and the borders are controlled by Israelis. So if there was Israeli holidays, the West Bankers can't go to Jordan. They have to how to say it,
they have to arrange
their flights according to the Israeli agendas, or according to the Israeli calendar or whatever. So basically they have to move to Jordan, and from Jordan they have to travel wherever they want to go. Some villages in the West Bank are surrounded completely by settlers and settlements. Palestinians, their main pride is the olive trees and olive seasons. We love olives. It's something that it represents us as Palestinians. So many villagers got their lands and olive trees burned by Israeli settlers because they are surrounded completely by Israeli settlers. And I'm saying that in the West Bank, many people think, oh, Palestine is in the West Bank. But no, there's nothing called Palestine in the West Bank, because it's full of settlers, it's full of settlements, and it's under Israeli control 100%. Also, we have the realities of Jerusalem. So I'm a Palestinian from Jerusalem. So in Jerusalem, basically, Israel has declared that it's a national Jewish country. So Jerusalem would be their national Jewish capital. So to them, they wanted to be a majority of Jewish people. They wanted to look as completely Jewish. They don't want any Islamic or Christian like monuments or scenes from Jerusalem, even though like we have to know that in Christianity it's the most important city, right? In Islam it's the third most important city. So basically they want to make it as the only Jewish capital in the world. Exactly. So they want to push Palestinians living in Jerusalem away. Today we are consisting of 40% of the population. Palestinians in Jerusalem are 40% of the population. I'm saying in Jerusalem. They want the first master. So every now and then they have a master plan that they would push Palestinians out of Jerusalem. So the master plan that they are trying to do now is to lower the percentage of Palestinians in Jerusalem from 40% to 30%. That's the master plan, Master Plan 2020. And basically, how do they do this? By home demolitions. They always
evictions. If you say, you call that.
So basically, by home demolitions, you always maybe hear about home demolitions taking place in Jerusalem, but nobody knows why. Basically, because they home demolish the houses of the Palestinians, and they push them to go live in West Bank or like in Jordan or whatever. Through confiscation of lands. So basically, they're like hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have in Jerusalem have been have went through home demolitions or confiscations of land, and through ethnic cleansing and displacement of people, like what's happening today in Sheikh Jarrah and in Silwan. And it's not eviction because it's not eviction because eviction is
eviction is legal. What's happening is not legal at all, where you're basically told to leave entirely. without
Exactly.
any legal backing. Yeah.
Exactly. Under international law, East Jerusalem, where we live, is considered occupied territory. So it's not legal to move the Palestinians out of their homes. So basically, today in Sheikh Jarrah, around 550 people are facing ethnic cleansing in Sheikh Jarrah. In Silwan, 800 people are facing, Silwan is a neighborhood in East Jerusalem.
Okay. So
800 people are facing ethnic cleansing and displacement. So basically, yeah, that's the reality of Palestinians in Jerusalem. But if you go to Palestinians in what's been called Israel, what we call it as Palestinians 48 or 48ers, these Palestinians, their realities are different. So basically, they have an Israeli passport, they have an Israeli citizenship, but they will not at all be considered as first-class citizens. All the time, they are considered second-class citizens.
Even with an Israeli passport?
Yeah, even though, because they are Arabs. So
okay,
they are Palestinians. So basically, they always face racism. Recently, they were attacked not only by soldiers and police, they were attacked by Israeli settlers who were roaming the streets calling for death to Arabs, death to Arabs. And all the Palestinians in 48 that were killed, like in 48 clans, that were killed in the past 2 weeks were killed by Israeli settlers, armed Israeli settlers. We're talking about locals who are armed, which is like really more scarier than being killed by a soldier or a police, because like you would never expect that a local like you would be armed and kill you.
I mean, yeah, I think at this point people do feel that they can get away with it, right? I mean, obviously they if their government if they're backing this whole movement, then anybody can get away with anything and no one's going to say anything, right? So even in the court of law, if a Palestinian says that this person tried to kill me, they'll not really, back the Palestinians. So that's why I feel that this is, becoming more and more, and it is definitely scary. For sure.
Actually, those settlers were backed and were protected by Israeli soldiers.
There you
and
go.
police. So in Lid, the settlers and the police and the soldiers were walking together, shouting death to Arabs.
There you go.
In Haifa, Jerusalem, Nazareth, other cities, Kufar Kanna, they were protected by Israeli soldiers. So they were there. They saw them killing. They saw them chanting death to Arabs, death to Arabs. But they didn't do that. They were supporting them. They were protecting them. So yeah, that's the reality of Palestinians, even though they are considered under Israeli law as Israeli citizens, they will always be second class citizens. They would not be treated as like the Israeli Jewish citizens.
Yeah. So this is going to take the conversation a little back. I wanted to ask you, you were talking about moving from one area to the other, you have checkpoints. When was the last time you went through one of those checkpoints?
Because I live in Jerusalem, I always go through checkpoints.
Okay, so could you possibly describe how you feel, for example, when you're going through and what they actually do there?
So basically, it's other than the how to say it, the body pain, like going through all these kind of things. It's mentally tiring, Other than the tiring of the body, it's mentally tiring, because like every time you go through checkpoints, like every time I used to go through, even though, like, for example, I studied in Ramallah, which is in the West Bank, so I had to go 2 times a day through a checkpoint every day. So by time you start to normalize it in a way, because it's happening every day, but sometimes it will pop on your mind, like, why should I go through this? As also, like, why someone who is in my age should control my life. You know, the soldiers that are inside the checkpoints, like controlling us to enter and checking us, they are like they are in our own, like in our ages, you know, like
Yeah.
why someone, because he was born in a different reality, because he was born from a different religion, from a different state, whatever,
Yeah.
he should control my life because I'm Palestinian, you know. And many times it happened that, for example, this soldier, for example, didn't like you, so he would tell you like, go back, I don't want you to pass. And it happened.
Okay. And
And
that's the power they've been given, basically. That they
exactly.
can,
And
if they don't feel like it. Sorry, continue. You were saying something.
And as well, like you have to go through like an endless queue, you know, like you have to be maybe, so example, for example, the road from Jerusalem to Ramallah should be like half an hour, 45 minutes,
Okay.
without checkpoints. But it had to take us 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours with checkpoints, because you don't know how long would you wait. It depends
Yeah.
on the soldiers, if they want to be like shit or not in dealing with us.
Yeah.
Or and how long are the queues, you know. So every time, like, I had to go to my university in Ramallah, I had to go 2 hours earlier, even though it might only take 45 minutes. And sometimes if I go 2 hours earlier, I'd miss my classes because you know, you never expect what will wait for you in the checkpoints.
True. I mean,
so yeah,
I think in Western countries, in other countries, you basically get out of your house to go to work or something, and you're thinking that maybe I should go 20 minutes early because there's going to be a traffic jam or something. But you know, for you know, it's basically, you know, how somebody's day has been or night has been, and they can, you know, let you just pass easily or not, but you still have to, you know, plan that way, I guess, which is really unfortunate for sure. So thank you for telling me about the checkpoints. I wanted to ask you, I have never like had the experience of talking to a soldier like you did while you were sitting on the ground, when you know, asked that soldier, is this what you wanted to be when you grow, when you, you know, thought you're going to be growing up to do something? And what was that like? What was that experience like? Because, and I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, he did not answer, did he?
No, he did not answer.
What was his expression?
I think his facial expressions, he would be answering, you know, but he's not allowed to. So his facial expressions did answer. I think he was, I think it moved him a little bit, because I was so angry at that time. I was like, why do you do this? Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's right, but I always think about the experiment that was done in one of the universities. I forgot, Stanford, I think, Stanford experiment, which when the professor took a part of the students and made them soldiers, and the other part as prisoners. And
I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure of the university, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, so I was like telling him, like I was so angry. Like I literally was trying to defend a girl. Like what crime is that? Only because like you have control over my life, because some powerful country or whatever created that control and made you believe in it mentally. So basically, like, as if I was shouting and like, wake up to what you're doing, realize what you're doing. It's not you know, like I think soldiers and usually soldiers are tools in the hands of governments, you know, especially because they are, I don't think anyone would choose to be a soldier if they are not forced to do it, you know. Maybe they would, but I don't, I think they are tools in the hand of governments because they would do things without them thinking of their actions. They would do anything that they are asked to do, you know.
I think I know what you. It's tricky. There are people obviously who want to defend their own countries and they would want to be soldiers, but when you're actually there, I think it's the herd mentality, where you're basically surrounded by so much anger and guns and arms and ammunition and everything.
Exactly.
And then you're told that one thing, constantly just one thing. There are, you know, US soldiers, for example, who were in Iraq, you know, who went to Iraq for, you know, for Saddam Hussein and stuff, and they have come back now and said that it was the wrong thing to do. No matter what, you know, policies or whatever, it was the wrong thing to do. And in fact, very interestingly, I'm not going to share the video because I think it kind of breaks the chain of conversation, but I'll link it down below. Basically, these two soldiers, one man, one woman, they were Israeli soldiers, ex-Israeli soldiers. And they were talking about how they have realized that they were making a mistake. And so they did carry forward orders. The man says that I did give orders and I did receive orders, and they were not right, but I did it because I did it. He said, for example, once we got an order while we were driving in a car passing through a normal neighborhood, they were given flash grenades and they said, just toss them out. And he went like, you know, why? Because he was new. He's like, why? And the officer, his superior, said that this is the way to make Palestinians realize who's boss, you know, that we are bigger than them and we can, you know, control them. And yeah, it's tricky, but it's really obvious, you know, what's happening right now.
Actually,
go ahead.
Actually, this reminds me of 2 days ago, or yesterday or 2 days ago, two airs, how to say it, like the ones who drives the plane.
The pilots.
The pilots, Israeli pilots who made, like, who did airstrikes in Gaza the last week. They said in the news that we did that because we were angry. We wanted to how to say it, to
release their frustration.
Release our anger. So they released their frustration and they released their anger through bombing people and killing people. And so what? Wow.
Yeah. You want to take a breath? These are heavy topics. So since okay, I'm going to go on a tangent here. The thing is that, you know, you mentioned that 2018, there was a bombing, 2019, there was a bombing, 2020 was saved a bit, 2021 now history. In fact, I did a Facebook post in 2018 that said, you know, it was wishing everybody Eid Mubarak. But then I also said that 40 Palestinians were killed today. And that was 2018, and it came up on my Facebook memories. So nothing's really changed. I shared that again on my Facebook, that nothing's changed. But, you know, this happens every Ramadan. I don't know if it's just me assuming it, but I've seen heavy bombings, heavy attacks, heavy fighting during Ramadan. It's either in the beginning or the middle or the end, and this year is the end of it, right? In one of the third holiest site for Muslims. But what's happening during the year? Because you know what I mean, right? It makes the news once a year, really crazy, really big, but nobody really says anything during the entire year. Now I know that people are being treated this way, that they can't go to different places. There, checks and, settlers, evictions, different things like that. But from, I want to hear from you, like, what is happening during the rest of the year when clearly nobody knows what's happening in Palestine, Israel?
So basically, I don't know if it only happens in Ramadan. I'm not sure of this. It might happen different times of the year, but maybe I have an explanation why it might happen in Ramadan. So basically, in Ramadan, all Muslims around the country who can reach Jerusalem, not all Palestinians can reach Jerusalem. Like the West Bankers cannot reach Jerusalem. They need like a paper or whatever. They can't get it easily. The Gazans can never like get out of Gaza to reach Jerusalem or to reach any other place other than Gaza.
Yeah.
So basically, Jerusalem would be a place that all people who can reach Jerusalem come to pray in Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the third holiest place for Islam around the world. So Jerusalem would be filled with Islamic icons, with Islamic people who come to pray, whatever. And as I told you before, Israel doesn't want this. Israel doesn't want Jerusalem, its Jewish, Jewish capital,
yes,
to look like to look Christian or to look Islam. I'm saying Christian because like in the last Easter, so less than a month ago,
exactly, yeah,
Christians were attacked and they were denied entry to the Holy Sepulchre. So that doesn't happen only to Muslims, it also happens to Christians.
Exactly,
they were attacked, some were arrested, and they were denied entry to the Holy Sepulchre, so which is the holiest church in the world. So basically, the presence of many Palestinians and of many people would how to say it, like they would what's the word, it would let Israel or Israeli forces not to feel good, especially in Jerusalem. So basically in the last Ramadan, which was like last month, the beginning of Ramadan, they denied Palestinians to sit in Damascus Gate, and Damascus Gate is like the city center and the downtown for Palestinians in Jerusalem. And it's the most attracting gate in the walls of Jerusalem. So it's the most attracting gate. All the people who come to Jerusalem would take photos at Damascus Gate because it's so much attracting, and it's a neighborhood that is Palestinian. Israel for so long is trying to turn it into like the majority who stay there, whose shops are there, they are trying to turn it into an Israeli, not Palestinians, because they want this attraction and this place that is so much attracting to be Israeli, not Palestinians. So the beginning of Ramadan, many Palestinians were in Damascus Gate. And Israel didn't like that. So they denied people to sit or to gather in Damascus Gate. They denied only Palestinians. Israelis were allowed to sit in Damascus Gate. They were allowed to gather there. Palestinians were not allowed. So us Palestinians, of course, we revolted. This is the only place that we have as Palestinians. Like, you took everything else. You want to take the last downtown that we have. You want to take the last place where we like to sit. So we revolted, we resisted, and we kept, like, for 2 weeks we kept revolting, resisting, etc., until we managed to succeed and to win the cause. They couldn't do it anymore. Like they were like, enough, okay. It doesn't mean that they will not try to do it again and again, but this time we won. After the incidents in Damascus Gate, what happened was basically the Sheikh Jarrah incidents and the Al-Aqsa Mosque incident, when people were praying
Yeah.
Taraweeh, when people were praying at Taraweeh, which in Al-Aqsa Mosque, the bombs and the rubber-coated steel bullets started like raining on them, like showering on them like rain. And basically they emptied the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and many people who were praying and paramedics and doctors were injured, were arrested, etc., etc. And they denied people to enter Al-Aqsa Mosque. They closed it, even though it's the holy month and people should go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and pray there. So we kept resisting and we kept revolting. And this is when, when things started in Gaza. Because, Al-Aqsa Mosque is the third holiest place for Muslims. So any attack against Al-Aqsa Mosque, like it's, first of all, it's under international law, it's not accepted. Second of all, it's, like imagine people attacking the Vatican or whatever. All Christians would revolt against that, right? So
no, it's a next level basically. It's I'm not sure if it has been done before. I know in different countries there have been terrorist attacks on mosques, like explosions or somebody coming in and shooting it up, but those were small instances of some extremism, and not like an entire army walking into one of the holiest sites for any religion. Exactly. And go ahead.
Continue, sorry.
No, I was just saying that that was about what, 10 days ago, a little more than 10 days ago, the Al-Aqsa situation. And I want to ask you about, since then, from the numbers that I have received up till now, there's 230 Palestinians who have been killed. And since then, and there have been 12 Israelis killed since then. And I'm saying killed for a reason, for both, because in international media, if you're following, Palestinians are, they die, but Israelis are killed. I've noticed this in a lot, and it's become a really big thing. John Oliver, Trevor Noah, all these people, everybody in the media, they're catching on to this. And so I guess my question is that, who is really dying here? Who's really getting killed here? I mean, you're talking about an army against people. These are not two armies fighting. There's, one side there's people, the other side there's an army. So who in your opinion is actually dying here? Because every time they talk about this, they blame everything on Hamas. So that Hamas was hiding behind these guys. Apparently Hamas was hiding also inside the Associated Press and the AJ building that was, destroyed. I guess my question is, like, from your opinion, I guess.
Yeah, so basically, as I said, the first Al-Aqsa Mosque was attacked the first time. When it was attacked the first time, like that was in the last month, Hamas, which is based in Gaza, which is nothing compared to to Israel and the power of Israel. It's like a small group of people who create their own
rockets,
rockets by themselves. They create rockets by themselves, like knowing that Gaza is been under siege for 15 years now. So what do they have as as
to
abilities?
Defend themselves? They don't have any power, basically, right? Yeah.
They don't have that power. They don't have that abilities to create, like, especially comparing to Israel. So basically, it sent a note to Israel, like, if you attack the Al-Aqsa Mosque again, we will throw rockets to Tel Aviv, But the next day or in 2 days, it attacked the Al-Aqsa Mosque again. It closed the Al-Aqsa Mosque again, and it arrested and injured many Palestinians inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Many Palestinians lost their eyes with the rubber-coated steel bullets. Like they can't see because both of their eyes were lost.
Yeah.
So basically, this is when Hamas threw rockets to Israel, okay? I don't want to give my opinion here. So when you asked about killed or dead, I don't want to give my opinion, but I just want to give facts. Israel is the only nuclear weapon country, like nuclear country in the Middle East, okay? Israel has $19.2 billion annually for military. Israel takes $3.2 billion from the US for military, other than the 19.2 million. The Israeli army is one of the most powerful armies in the world, you know? Israel is backed up by the most powerful countries in the world, especially the USA.
Yeah.
Hamas has been under siege for 15 years. I'm not saying about like they are in Gaza, and Gaza has been under siege for 15 years. They are a troop, like a small group of people that they do everything by their own self. They are not backed by any country, and they are not backed by.
Yeah, I was just saying it's a group of people resisting, you know, what's happening to the rest.
Exactly. Yeah. They have the right to defend themselves. When they are attacked, you know. Also, they have no planes, like no military planes. They have no military ships. I don't know what they call military ships or whatever.
Navy or Navy, Army, Air Force,
Navy,
basically,
Army. Yeah, Air Force and Navy, Army. So basically, when Palestinians are being killed and are being shot and are being bombed, 230 Palestinians are killed, including around 70 children, you know?
Yeah.
You put the comparison and you decide by yourself. Like I'm telling this to the people. I'm not deciding because I don't want to be told that I'm biased or whatever. No, I'm just saying these are the numbers and these are the facts. You decide by yourself. Hamas didn't like why would Hamas threw rockets to Israel in order to be bombed? Like why? Yeah. Other than because what Israel did, which is attacking Al-Aqsa Mosque twice. Like the first time, it didn't throw rockets after the first time. Like it just told Israel, like, if you attack the Al-Aqsa Mosque again, we will throw rockets. That's what it said. But they did attack the Al-Aqsa Mosque again. So it didn't do that. Like I'm telling you something. The whole world internationally started talking about this issue only after Tel Aviv and only after Israel was attacked.
I know.
But they didn't saw the last month, like the whole month before Israel was attacked, when we Palestinians were attacked, when we Palestinians were arrested, when we've been under fire, especially in Jerusalem, for more than a month at that point, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't see that, the international law, the international
media or community,
they didn't talk about it. Why they only talked about the thing and the cause only when Israel was attacked, you know?
Yeah.
Why the Palestine? It's not a conflict, but you know, the titles always would be Palestine-Israel conflict would start to be used internationally only when Israel is attacked.
It's there. Yeah. I mean, it is a good question, and the answer is pretty, unfortunately, simple. That their ally is being attacked, and that's the only time they wake up. They don't care about anybody else. There's this video that has made some rounds. It's Kamala Harris. She's the vice president in the US, the new one. everyone was a huge fan of hers until she came out and said, like, you know, they are our allies, we are going to support them, and they have the right to defend themselves. So it's always Israel defending themselves and nothing else. And at the end of the day, I mean, the numbers are very clear. The videos and pictures are very gruesome, but they're right there. But people don't want to, for some reason, believe that. And I personally don't understand why. You have to be inhumane to actually not believe things when they, you know, when they appear. You have 10-year-old girls talking about, you know, I just want to be a doctor. This is a Palestinian girl, her, you know, this happened also. And so it just seems that the international media starts looking into it when, you know, when Israel gets attacked and nothing else, regardless of the fact. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you continue. You continue.
No, I was saying regardless of the fact that, you know, when I was asking you earlier, that doesn't happen all year. So what actually is happening all of the year, all year round? And what's happening is that their rights are being stripped on a daily basis. It's like you said, mental torture or mental...
mental torture.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. And like, nobody would accept that. People in the US, for example, they were asked to wear masks and they started talking about freedom, right?
Yeah.
We have people in Thailand as well who are foreigners or locals, you know, saying that, oh, we do not want to wear a mask because that's repressing our freedom, that's taking away freedom. That is nothing as compared to what's actually happening, right? You know, you're way out of, you know, the whole thing about, oh, a mask is a freedom option. Like, that's not something that you're considering on a daily basis, which is actually really horrifying, unfortunately. I wanted to ask, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
There were days, I remember, there were days we as Palestinians, especially in Jerusalem, we were afraid to walk in the streets with our hands in our pockets. I swear to God, it would be freezing cold. And I'm talking about me personally as well. I was like freaking scared to put my hands inside my pockets because I don't want any Israeli soldiers who they are everywhere in Jerusalem to think, oh, I'm hiding something in my pockets and I want to kill them or whatever.
Is that a rule?
It's not a rule, but it's something that is ingrained inside of us Palestinians, to be afraid of doing any suspicious, you know, act, because you would be killed directly. You would be shot. Like, look how simple it is, like, to put your hand inside your pocket, like how simple that would be. And especially when it's like winter and it's cold. I'm a person who gets really cold, so like the most natural thing is to put my hands inside my pockets, and yeah, that's the reality. And also, you asked a question, like you said, like, why do these international countries and why the international media support Israel, or like, oh, poor Israel is attacked, it needs to defend itself. Well, it's like the answer is so simple, because Israel is a colonizing state. It's a colonization, and it was created by colonizers, by countries that are inherently colonizers, you know.
That is true.
Colonization. So basically, it was created by them. I'm not against religion, and I'm not against any religion. I'm not against Judaism and Palestinians, and the cause of Palestinians is not about Muslims against Judaism, because we as Palestinians, we are consisting of Christians, Muslims, Jews, and Druze as well, and other different minorities.
Yes.
So basically, it was never a religious conflict. Judaism were used as an excuse, you know, for the colonization, because there's a saying, religion is the opium of people, the easiest excuse to be used in order to colonize.
other people is to use the religion. And it's not a unique case when like religion is used. Many cases around the world, religion was used in order to colonize other countries and other people, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, yes, Judaism was used in this case and in this cause in order to like in a way to colonize, like the creation, those who created Zionism, you know?
Yes.
And those who are calling for Jews to migrate to Palestine, that was before 1948.
Yeah.
They themselves did not come and live here. They were in Europe and they stayed in Europe. They used the Jewish people. They used the Jewish people in their
agenda,
agendas, and in their like colonizing tactics or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically, I do believe that Judaism in this cause was victimized by the organizers of Zionism and the organizers of colonizers, you know, because, you know, Palestine is located in a really strategic place, you know.
Yes.
It's in like the middle of Asia, Africa, and Europe. So of course, who doesn't want to colonize this place, especially like powerful countries like the USA and the West?
Yeah, there are certain countries around the world that, you know, a lot of Western countries have their hold on it some way or the other, whether it be through what do you call those, loans, like from the IMF and, you know, things like that, military aid, financial aid, and yeah, they keep that going on because they know there are good bases. And that's basically the starter of so many wars. And clearly these people have the basis. So when they have to go to war in that area, they go to that country that they've been helping and ask for favors. And it's basically is what happens, unfortunately. I want to, you know, we were talking about the mask earlier, and I wanted to ask you, what is the COVID situation there? Like, because, sorry, let me clarify why I'm asking. It's because I've been watching videos where Netanyahu and all Israelis are basically under his leadership are getting vaccinated, but Palestinians are not. And so I'm curious, like, what your take is on that.
Yeah. So basically, that I heard someone saying this phrase, like, don't be COVID washed, you know, like brainwashed, don't be COVID washed. And the idea of it is that anyone who lives under Israel, like direct Israel rule under this land, like the people who are 48ers, we call them, as I said before, or the Jerusalemites, they were vaccinated. They were forced to be vaccinated in a way, because they want like to clear all the people who are in interaction with the Israelis to in order like to end the COVID case. But if you go to the West Bank and if you go to Gaza, which is filled with Palestinians are not vaccinated. Palestinians have in the West Bank and in Gaza, they don't have access and they don't have the ability to get vaccinations, you know. And so especially in Gaza, you know, in Gaza it's horrible. It's totally terrible. And yeah, that's the idea.
I don't know if this is a really rude way of saying it, but I mean, I'll say it anyways. I wanted to ask you, like, a lot of videos that are coming out from the past few years and the newest ones now, when they're I think from last year, there was a journalist going to young Jewish kids and they were asking them, what do you want, to do with all of this that's happening, the conflict? And they said, we just want them to go away. We just want them to go to their countries, which obviously is a stupid thing to say. It is their country, but they said we just want them to go away. And the root part of this is, I wanted to ask you that, do you think that people like Netanyahu do not want Palestinians to be vaccinated, so that, God forbid, if they end up dying from it, that's literally their job, cut? Do you know what I mean?
So basically, I was laughing at what you said, like, go back to their countries.
Yeah.
Is that like we always get that? Like, I remember once I was with the foreigners in Jerusalem, and I was telling them about Jerusalem, whatever, and one Israeli guy, like, he's young, he's not too old, and he started shouting at me, like, go back to Saudi Arabia, as if I'm from Saudi Arabia. Like, I have nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. Like, yeah. It's so stupid in a way. Like it doesn't mean I'm Muslim, I'm from Saudi Arabia. Like, if I go to Saudi Arabia and tell them, like, I'm Muslim, give me your passport or give me the nationality, I will not be allowed to get the nationality, because it's not based on religion, like in the nationality. And Muslim around the world, Saudi Arabia, they won't get the Saudi passport or Saudi nationality, but any Jewish around the world, or not Jewish, any person around the world whose grandfather or grandmother or great-grandfather were Jewish, even if they are coming from Mars or Jupiter, if they come to Israel and to an Israeli airport and tell them, like, my grandfather is Jewish, give me the Israeli nationality and the Israeli passport, they will get one.
And that's because they want to create that imbalance, like you mentioned, right?
And it's the only country in the world that is based upon religion in this way, So we're 2021. So concerning the COVID-19 thing, I should say that I'm not too much I'm not too much aware of what's going on with the COVID-19 thing. I'm not.
Here, like in where you are right now. Like,
I don't know how many people now have COVID. I'm not sure. But what I want to say is that the Palestinians living under Gaza and the Palestinians living under the West Bank, like in the West Bank, even though they are not directly under the Israeli occupation or the Israeli laws, rule, I mean, they are basically controlled by Israel, So the West Bank is basically definitely controlled by Israel.
Yeah.
Gaza is controlled by Israel. So basically they are not controlling inside Gaza, but the borders are controlled by Israel. Like, they are under siege. They are under prison, open air prison. It's the largest open air prison in the world.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how to say it, like the largest population in a closed area is in Gaza, in the world, 2 million or more than 2 million people are in this small strip. So basically Israel is controlling these places. So the ability to get vaccination the ability to get vaccinations in the West Bank or in Gaza is controlled by Israel. So I'm not really sure of the percentage of people who got vaccinated. I haven't read about it.
Okay, that's fine.
For a while. But that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a video this morning where, that's why I brought it up, that it said that 5 million Palestinians are not going to be vaccinated, and there are no plans to do that. They want to only, currently at least, hopefully they'll change their mind, but currently they want to just vaccinate all Jewish people, all Israelis, people who do not, wait, I shouldn't say that because I'm not sure, but it's something to do with passports, so I'm just not going to put that information out there and make a mistake like that. I think I'm done with all of my questions, but like I said, I wanted this to be a chat, not an interview. Is there anything that you want to throw out there to the world? Any you know, final words you want to send out?
Yeah, I have something to say.
Sure.
Is that the Israeli propaganda and the Israeli news are really powerful around the world. Israel controls the major medias in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It has its effect on these medias. And there's a lot of examples. I can say one if you want. Like, for example, the New York Times, which is controlled by Israel, like many other powerful medias around the world. During the war in Gaza, it had this title that 10 Israelis were killed by Hamas rockets, and then it knew, like they knew that, oh well, they are not Israelis, they are Palestinians who were being killed by airstrikes, Israeli airstrikes. So it deleted that title, and when it re-talked about the thing, when it republished it, it says Israelis killed by Hamas rockets. It didn't mention that 10 Palestinians were killed. Like, it didn't mention it at all. Like, as if there's no Palestinians killed. There's no. What is Palestinians? What is Palestine?
Yeah.
So basically, since 1948 until today, we as Palestinians are being silenced. They are trying to delete us from maps, from news, from realities. I would travel around the world and I would tell people I'm Palestinians, and people would ask, like, what's Palestinian? What is Palestine? Where is Palestine? Because they have, for more than 70 years, they have been trying to delete us, and they have been trying for Palestinians to be forgotten, and for Palestine to be forgotten. Like, they would tell the world there is nothing called Palestine. But if you just search Palestine before 1948, you would see the cities, and you would see the photos of Palestine, and you would see the Palestinian culture, you know? So for more than 73 years, we've been deleted, we've been silenced as Palestinians. Today, we have a powerful weapon in our hands, which is the social media. We as Palestinians, it's the first time for us to be able to spread our messages and to spread our words and to spread our narrative according to our own points of views through social media. And when they knew that social media has been a powerful weapon in our hands in order to tell the world about us, in order to educate the world that we still exist, and there's still something called Palestine, and there's still something called Palestinians, they started silencing us in social media. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they started deleting the posts about Palestine. But we keep on posting, and we keep on resisting. So I ask the people around the world, keep posting about Palestine, keep talking about Palestine, keep reading about Palestine, educate yourself about Palestine. We as Palestinians, we are resisting the occupation. We are resisting to keep our voices heard, and to keep the name and the word Palestine and Palestinians active. And we as well are trying to educate the world about ourselves and about our cause. So please help us read about Palestine, share about Palestine. It's illogical and it's shameful that we are 2021 and there's still occupation, and there's still oppression, and there's still colonization ongoing. Our grandchildren, like the world's grandchildren, like in the coming years, they would ask us, how did you allow this to happen, that you were allowing occupation to happen, were allowing ethnic cleansing to take place, were allowing colonization to happen. You will not have an answer for that, because you cannot say we didn't know about it. No. Now you know about it because news spread easily today, but it depends on what you search on. Don't let easy news to come directly to you. Like easy news are paid news.
Yeah.
They are the news that they pay for it. They have money for media to pay for news, for easy news.
Yeah.
Don't allow easy news to come for you and accept these news as facts. Go search for the news. Go search for alternative narratives and alternative voices. Know the truth. Easy news are most probably fake news. Don't accept fake news as easily as it is. So yeah, that's my last words.
Wow, thank you so much for your time. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
No, thank you so much for you know, it's truly an honor to have this chat with you. And me personally, I don't know what I can promise, but I'm going to send it out as much as possible. Let's see, you know, whoever we can all educate, that, you know, that's something I'm, you know, really keen on doing. That's about it though. Thank you so very much for your time and your energy, and keep fighting the good fight. And you're welcome on this channel anytime you want. You can just send me a message. I can say that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Sure. Thank you all for listening. That was Mariam Afifi. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Mariam Afifi.
Okay. Afifi. Mariam Afifi. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Please like, share, subscribe this story. It's time to not just sit idle anymore and to listen to people actually from where this conflict is going on. And thank you so much for watching. I'll sign out. Bye-bye.